Welcome into the season premiere of the Black and Gold Report for the 2017-2018 athletic season. We appreciate you coming along for the ride. I'm your new host, Matt Sabados. Trevor Williams is our producer-director for this year. We've got plenty to talk about, not just this week, but every single week this year. First, only 5 days remain between now and the start of the 2017 football season between the Braves and the Winston-Salem State University Rams. We've got a great preview show coming your way. Down the line, we'll talk with a couple of the key returning players from last year's 10-2 team. We'll break down the 2017 schedule, including a lot of the great home events that you don't want to miss at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. But right now, I got the opportunity to sit down with Braves head coach Shane Richardson to pick his brain on the upcoming season, and we're going to give you a little taste of how that went. Here at the Caton Fieldhouse on the Black and Gold Report, Matt Sabados alongside UNCP Football head coach Shane Richardson. First off, Coach, it's an honor to have you on the show for the first time this season.
No, thanks, Matt. I really look forward to working with you guys and appreciate you being here.
A lot to talk about, not only in this show, but for the potentially 10-plus weeks that we're going to be having you on. Great season to look forward to from the team, but there's a great season that you guys are following off of. 10-2, first time in program history, double-digit wins, first time in program history with an NCAA postseason victory. Obviously, there's a lot to motivate your team about from that. What have you been using from that past season to motivate your team with?
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of themes that we've used coming off from last fall. One is we want to keep the expectation high, and I think our team last year kind of set the bar a little bit and obviously accomplished a lot of great things that you're discussing right there. But the team coming in now, I think they need to know that the expectation is still really high. And I don't want there to be any drop-off. I don't want there to be a drop-off in their mentality or the way that they approach it or the way that they work. And so I think that is something that we're really trying to keep really at a high level. Another thing is we want to make sure that the momentum is there and we are really understanding how this team fits into what that momentum should look like. And so obviously as a different team, there's going to be different things that as a coaching staff we're going to need to figure out. But we want to ride the momentum as much as we can while making adjustments and really working game plans and figuring out what our strengths are and really seeing what we need to work on so that we can move the team in a great momentum phase.
Now, the team coming into this year after the expectations being set last year obviously has a lot of transfers and recruits. How do you feel overall about the class that you brought in as compared to the starters that you kept over?
Yeah, I think the young guys that we have in the program right now are really talented, have a lot of ability, and really are going to be the foundation for years to come. And the guys that are returning obviously know the program very, very well. There's going to be a lot of experienced guys that'll be on the field that are returning, but then also I think we've got a new crop of guys that are coming up into the freshmen, the sophomore, and even the true freshmen that we signed that will have opportunities to really show us what they can do.
Any kids from that new crop that you could potentially say by name that you're really high on this season?
Yeah, no, I think right now there's a handful of guys that we're looking at that are kind of on the bubble, and I think at this point in camp we're still making those determinations. Yeah. We've got another big scrimmage coming up here, and we want to make sure that those guys are kind of ready for when the bullets start flying. And so there's a lot of talent overall, but I think some guys sometimes just kind of surprise you more than others, and they're more ready, and maybe there's more of an opportunity at that position even.
Absolutely, because we're getting down to the single digits when we're counting down the days, so the intensity has to really be ramping up during these training camp sessions, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes to a point where you kind of get sick and tired of hitting each other and kind of beating on each other all the time, and so you're ready for an opponent typically by game one. And so I think that's what we're starting to feel and see. I think our guys understand the sense of urgency that we need to have.
You got the prime opponent in week one too with Winston-Salem State.
Yep, and we really respect those guys, and their success has spoken for itself. We obviously have played well against them the past couple of years. We intend to keep that going, but we like opening up the season with them because it's a very credible opponent for us.
Now, not just talking about Winston-Salem State, because it's a given. You guys had a fantastic season last year, but it's in the rearview mirror at this point. And as a coach, you always talk about looking ahead. What are your toughest games, and what are the games that you feel like might be not as tough when you're looking up at the 10-game stretch?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, and the more that people are around our program, you'll soon kind of discover that we really don't talk about the opponent that much, and so
focus on yourself.
Yeah, even with our team, I go over the schedule really one time during fall camp just to introduce it and to make sure that they kind of know what that looks like on what days we're playing. But we don't necessarily think about who that is or what their ranking or record or how good we think they are. We try to make sure that every day we come to work, it's how we play and not who we play. And that's one of our on-the-field goals. And we really try to pound that into our guys. That's really not lip service. I mean, that's a definite philosophy that we adopt and we really believe in. And so we really try to embrace that of making sure that every single day we're executing what we can do and controlling the things that we can control.
Talking about that and working around the mentality, a philosophy like that helped you get ranked 19th in the country in the preseason polls from the AFCA. Mm-hmm. Is that something you've pushed onto your team at all, let them know about it, or is that another thing where you just say, it's something that happens, let's focus on ourselves?
Yep, it goes along with that. I do introduce it just because I think for a lot of young guys that they're unaware of kind of maybe how to respond to that and how to handle that. And so I want to make sure that they understand how the coaches are thinking about it and how we need to really go about our daily business in terms of staying focused on the right things. And so we hit on it early in camp, and then what I tell them is, look, the preseason poll means nothing if you come out in the first game and you don't play well. And so you got to continue to prove that day in and day out and week in and week out.
Now last week, first week back with students, obviously your players have been here for a lot longer, but you guys put on your first scrimmage for a gathering of the students that come out. Great turnout from the students, good game on the field. What were your overall thoughts coming at the end of it?
Well, I was very impressed with the students that came out, and so that's a big thank you to the athletic department that tried to promote that and the students that came out to show interest. That's exciting if we can get those students out every week. But I thought our guys played hard. We were probably in a situation where it was the first time that we really went live for a significant amount of plays. And so it's good. We've got to get ourselves into football shape. I told them after the scrimmage that we've got to take our biggest step during fall camp after that scrimmage until this scrimmage coming up now. And I think we have. I think we've had a few really good days of practice. We'll have a couple more. And then we can start to focus on the game plan after this scrimmage gets put to bed. But I think our team's in a great place right now. I really like the vibe, the attitude, the willingness, the energy. They've come every day and they've really taken on what we've thrown at them, and it's been really pleasant to see.
Talking about trying to take the big steps, from the time that your team showed up until now, what do you think has been the biggest improvement that your team's made?
Well, I think getting a group of young guys to really buy in and believe and all stay on the same train. And I think what it is it's guys that come from different programs, and we had about 50 new guys to the program here this fall, and so you're looking at almost half of the players. And so you've got to really galvanize that locker room. You've got to galvanize the team room. You've got to really make sure that they're all on the same page and thinking the same way and going out and practicing the same way. And I think that's something that I've really enjoyed over the course of the past 15 days or so, is seeing how that's really come together, and I like where we're at.
Looking ahead to the rest of the season, I know I already asked about the schedule. What do you really think is going to be just the toughest stretch in general once you get to October or something, keeping your team energized just in the locker room with the new guys like that? What would be your way of going about that for the new guys?
Sure. No, I think every season you get to a point in the season where there's a little bit of the routine that sets in, and it's every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, they kind of know what to expect. And so you've got to keep it switched up a little bit. You've got to keep them fresh. I think, the fresher team on Saturday gives themselves a great opportunity to go out there and play fast. And we'll be very physical and very demanding when we need to be during the week. But I think once you get into kind of the mid-season stretch there, you've got to really be smart as a coach as to how much you're putting on them and how many reps they're taking and what all that looks like. And so that's something that we always are very careful and cautious about, to take a good examination of and see where we need to go with that.
talking about the new guys switching over to a lot of your veterans. I know you're bringing back a lot of defensive starters. Mm-hmm. Anybody that you're really excited about? Someone that made a lot of improvements over the summer break into this fall?
Yeah, so I think our D-line has a really good chance to be really exciting for us and make a lot of plays. I think our pass rush is going to be really, really fun to watch. I think Tyler Hinton, Alpha Lamine, and Tajay Lyles, those three guys as returners at the defensive end position, I think are really, really exciting to think about what they have the ability to do. And I think in the back end, we're as athletic as we've been in a long time. They're going to be young in the back end, but they're extremely athletic, extremely talented, and so I'm really excited to see what they can do from just a coachability aspect, and if they can buy in and really pick it up quick. It's going to be fun to watch those guys in the back end flying around too. So I think our defense has a chance to be very solid, and we just want to stick to the code, which is code black, and we want to play hard, play fast, and play together, and that never changes. And so we want to make sure that they understand what that's supposed to look like every game.
And as I understand, there's a pretty big potential this season for some quality depth at the QB position.
Yeah, I think at the quarterback position, we've got a lot of capable guys, and we have not named a starter yet. And I think what this camp offers is an opportunity for guys to get reps and for us to be able to evaluate as coaches who we feel really comfortable with. I feel very confident that come game week, we will feel very confident with the guy that we go with, and it gives them a great opportunity to compete against each other and to go out there every day and not let their guard down.
All right, Coach. Well, that seems to be all we're going to have for you this time, but we got about 10 weeks to talk, so let's save it for down line. First off, appreciate meeting you on the show and look forward to working with you this
Absolutely.
season.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back with the Black and Gold Report. Welcome back into the Black and Gold Report. Matt Sabados here with you on the Braves Media Network. Trevor Williams is our producer and director. We're here at Grace P. Johnson Stadium now to talk plenty of more football. Only 5 days away between today and the home opener against the Braves and the Winston-Salem State University Rams. Let's go ahead and run down the entire schedule for the upcoming 2017 season. Obviously, you got the Rams coming up this Saturday, 7 o'clock. After that, Elizabeth City State's going to be on the road, followed by 2 straight home games for the Braves. That'll be 3 of their 4 home games this season. Not too many. It'll be against Catawba for Robeson County Schools Night and Tuscaloosa for the Parents and Families Night. That's on the 16th and 23rd of September, respectively. It'll be a heck of a trip for the Braves as they look to make a return to the NCAA tournament after their 10-2 record last year, currently ranked 19th in the AFCA preseason polls. Let's go ahead and run down the whole top 25 for you as the Braves, for only the 3rd time in history, are ranked in the preseason. Leading off the top 25, no-brainer. The Northwest Missouri State University Bearcats, defending D2 national champions. They haven't lost a game since 2015. I feel as though they deserve to be at the top. North Alabama, the team that just played in the national championship, dropped from 3rd in the final poll all the way down to 6th, along with Shepherd, the team that played 2 years ago in the national championship. They're at 7th. And then your UNCP Braves at 19th. Coming off of their 10-2 record, they will look to replicate. We talked with head coach Shane Richardson last segment. We'll talk with a couple of the leaders on the team returning from last season in our next segment. Be sure to stick around because we've got plenty coming up, plenty to talk about, and plenty to look forward to for the 2017 football season. Keep it here on the Black and Gold Report on the Braves Media Network. Back in on the Black and Gold Report on the Braves Media Network, Matt Sabados here with you, and I'm joined by 2 of the key players from the 2016 10-2 team for the UNCP Braves, defensive end T.Y. Hinton and running back Miles Grant. Guys, first off, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Now, obviously, you guys are coming off of a historic season for the team. How did it feel, just your thoughts contributing to such a team?
I mean, it felt great. There's a lot of great players that come through UNC Pembroke, so it feels really good to be, part of history.
I really felt like we dialed in, stuck to the process, and came out successful.
Now, each of you individually, Ty, a defensive end, you put together a great campaign, over 25 tackles. How are you looking, how have you worked to not only replicate but increase on that over the summer and through training camp so far?
We just had a great summer with Coach Hannett's summer workout program, and just working on improving on last year, watching a lot of film, and just trying to perfect everything and just build off of last season.
And Miles, nearly 500 yards from you last season. How are you going to get past that this year?
Just stick to the process, work hard, and have the other running backs make me work harder.
What are you seeing from the other running backs? Obviously, in training camp, you're going to get a lot more taste from them as you will in regular practice. How you liking your teammates?
It's competition, man. They push me, I push them. I want to keep my spot, so I just work even harder.
Talking about your teammates, a lot of guys left from last season, and you guys brought in a lot of recruits, a lot of transfers. Obviously, there's going to be some give and take with a competition like that, and you're going to have to get used to some of those fresh faces. How has that transition been going?
It's been going great. We had a good camp together. We had Navy SEALs training, and that definitely brought us together. So it's a big family aspect that's going on right now.
I really feel like them coming in, they can help out in many ways. They just got to stick to the process and trust us, and everything work right.
That's something I wanted to ask. My producer director and I, we were tuning in on your practice the past couple of days, and this competition you guys got going, it's something personally I haven't seen in a couple of the college teams that I've followed. Explain that to me. It definitely looks like it's something that could really boost up any sort of team, offense versus defense.
Right. It's pretty much a point system we've got going on. So the defense has a goal that they have to get to, and the offense has a goal that they have to get to, and then you take into account the penalties and things like that, and then it goes back and forth, and we just tally it up from there.
Now, how are the points calculated, scored on? Is it like actually scoring or interception, something like that? Is there a point system for each statistic?
Yeah, it's based on little things that happens during the game. So like you jump off sides, that's points off, or you make a completion, that's points. You don't even have to make yards. It's just it makes you look for a goal just to be instead of be running plays and stuff. It gives you a purpose.
Now the defense is winning, so Ty, have you been rubbing that in the faces a little?
A little bit, but it's all friendly competition. When
are you going to get back into it, Miles? Come on.
It's tough, man. They're really good, man. They are really good.
Well, obviously, we've still got a few days before the season opener against Winston-Salem State University. You're still in training camp right now, so the game plan hasn't fully been set, and you guys haven't entirely been looking forward to the first opponent. But what are your guys' thoughts going into week 1 on Thursday?
It's a big opponent, big, somewhat of a rivalry game. We're ready for it, though. It's going to be – we've had a good camp, good training. Coach Rich has really put a good plan up for us, so we're excited.
We're going to stick to the plan. We got a game plan to go in. We're going to execute, and the plan's going to work. So,
all right, guys. Well, again, appreciate having you on for this first time, and hopefully we can have you on down the line.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Defensive end Ty Hinton, running back Miles Grant. We'll be right back with the final segment of the Black and Gold Report right here on the Braves Media Network. Back in on the Black and Gold Report, Matt Sabados here. And before we wrap things up on this first episode of the 2017-2018 athletic season, let's go ahead and give you a quick rundown of the upcoming promotion schedule for the 2017 home football season. Plenty of fun activities to be out at Grace P. Johnson Stadium for. Now, we already covered the Thursday home opener against Winston-Salem State University, but we haven't covered everything around the fantastic Military Appreciation Night. Plenty of fanfare surrounding the night, incorporating team captains, veterans, maybe even a few aerial acrobatics. And don't worry, all of this free for veterans and active duty personnel as long as they have a valid ID. Festivities for the home opener kick off at 2:30. Remember, kickoff is at 7 o'clock for the actual game. Plenty of time to have plenty of fun. Tailgating opening up at only $5 for students, $10 for everybody else, in the Jones Center parking lot, with multiple student organizations already reserved for the fun. Gates open for fans at Grace B. Johnson Stadium at 5:30 to start filling the seats, and you want to be sure you get in your seat fast because there is plenty of fun to be had on the field before kickoff between the Rams and the Braves. The team will be honoring fallen heroes and families from the surrounding area both pregame and come game time, thanks to the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, with a full recap of the wonderful events of this home opener coming up on a later edition of the Black and Gold Report. After the home opener this Thursday, the Braves will hit the road to take on Elizabeth City and the Vikings, but they'll be back home for 2 straight home games. We're going to have great deals for all those involved in those 2 nights. If you're a parent, a teacher, or even a student at a Robertson County school system, you will be able to get a great discount on ticket prices. Go to uncpbraves.com/tickets and find out more. And if you're a parent or family member for someone here in Brave Nation, then you're going to get another nice discount as well. And it's not just at Grace B. Johnson Stadium. That weekend of September 23rd, an entire slew of events. You don't want to miss any of it. Now, like we said earlier, only a 4-game home schedule for the Braves this season. Not too much to get out to Grace B. Johnson Stadium for, but the 4 games alone will be chock full of fun events pre-game, during the game, and even post-game a lot of the time too. October 28th, homecoming weekend against Lenoir-Rhyne. You don't want to miss it when kickoff goes live at 7 o'clock. Again, October 28th, anticipated to be one of the biggest crowds at Grace B. Johnson Stadium this entire athletic season. Lenoir-Rhyne and the UNCP Braves. Like I said, all of these events can be found online and tickets purchased at uncpbraves.com/tickets. So go online today. And that's going to do it for this first week of the Black and Gold Report. We'd like to thank you for joining us for week 1 and hopefully for the rest of the season. I'd like to thank our producer, Trevor Williams. I'd like to also thank football head coach Shane Richardson, the defensive end T.Y. Hinton, and the running back Miles Grant, all for joining us on this fine program. Next week, we'll preview all the other sports that are set to get going right after football season gets underway for the fall athletic season, including volleyball. They're taking the floor at Newberry on September 1st, and women's soccer is hitting the pitch for the first time in Hartsville against Coker on August 31st. So be sure not to miss it when we come to you then. Like I said, this has been the Black and Gold Report. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.